So we just had another day of Blast Open Rotterdam, and I'm here to make a bold take. I'm here to say that I think that Liquid won this Malbs and NertZ swap. I can already say that they won, even with G2 not having played a single round yet with NertZ. And you might be thinking that I'm clickbaiting with that, in which case you would be correct. But also, besides that, I think that there is some truth to this. In the fact that Liquid is so far down already that by getting this Malbs change, which has come in so clutch for them at this particular moment, which I'm going to explain why, and getting them so much higher up just with this one change, I think that's already a bigger win than G2 can ever get, because G2 was already in a pretty good position. So why do I think this Malbs change is so good? Well, there have been 2 series so far with Liquid in them. They lost against Spirit. Okay, fair enough. It's Spirit. You got Donk on the other team. Hard to deal with Donk, right? On the other side, you have a win against NIP, and it was a close win. But NIP is low-key a kind of underrated team. The problem is that they can't close games, as Snappy said. But there were some very positive signs for Liquid in this game. And I want to highlight a few big things, but one main thing. The person who I think is the biggest winner from this change. And you might think it's Elige. You know, Elige needed a guy that could go in quickly, that he could trade for, which is happening already. We're already seeing that Elige has almost a 1.3 rating on T-side and Blast, which is crazy compared to what he's been doing in Liquid so far. So Elige is already back to his best. You might think it's Ultimate, because Malbs, really good anchor we've been seeing. Ultimate can play off of him really easily. He can depend on his anchor playing well. He can rotate in at the precise moment because he knows his anchor is going to buy enough time for him. You might think it's him, or you might think it's Naf or whoever, but no, I'll tell you who the biggest winner is, and it's Shuhei. And it's very simple why he's the biggest winner. If we look on their CT side so far, one of the main things about Liquid has always been that it's impossible to get Elige out of his spots. You can't get him out of Con, you can't get him out of short, out of these like central positions basically. Well, actually, we've seen it happen, because Shuhei is now playing Con on Mirage and Elige is playing short. And the reason this was able to happen is because Malbs is taking over that A-side anchor, which Shuhei was playing. Maybe he was playing B-side anchor, but they've shifted it around so that Shuhei finally gets to play his favorite spot, which is on Con and Mirage. And people have this impression of Shuhei that he's like Kerrigan. They like to make that comparison. And maybe calling style, that's true. He likes to have, work off of defaults. But in terms of CT side, I would say he's actually most like Apex of any of the in-game leaders, because he's not an in-game leader that wants to be that sacrificial B-anchor player that's just going to play the one-and-done spot, maybe drop some helpful util, and then, hey, you guys figure it out, you guys rotate, get the kills with the good aim and the good movement. Actually, that's not Shuhei at all. Shuhei, in fact, based on his interviews, he thinks of himself as a star. He thinks of himself as a player that can output really heavily in the server, as well as being one of the best callers. So he always liked to play these central positions on the map like Apex does. He wants to be in the action. He wants to be able to know what's going on during the round and then make the appropriate reactions throughout. And he wants to get good headshots. He wants to get kills. That's just how he is if you've watched him enough time. Of course, a lot of people have come in at the last second and think of him, only from Liquid, and then they just see him feeding as like, oh, he must be a shit player. He's actually not a shit player, especially if you watch his game. It's not because of this Shuhei gets to play Con and Elige is playing short, which is crazy that Elige has moved to short because of this. I think it's the first time in like forever that Elige is not playing his spot on Mirage. But this is a great result for them because Shuhei's back in his spot. Malbs is playing A in a way that Shuhei just can't play A. Like, Shuhei can be a good team player, he can drop util, but he just couldn't play A the way Malbs has been in this game, where he's like getting the perfect peaks. Malbs has all those little those little micro details of like really great players, really great anchors that can like get that extra kill or get those extra few seconds to delay them. And that really is going to bring a new level to this team, for sure. And we're seeing that, of course, Elige has benefited from this. Shuhei has a 0.92 rating in this event, which might seem like, okay, that's a bit crap. But actually, if you compare it with what he's been doing, a 0.92 rating is really good compared to where Shuhei was. And I can tell you, I'm a Liquid fan. I was watching Liquid's games before this. They were trash, especially Shuhei individually. So for him to have a .95 rating or 9.2 rating, and for him to have a 1.05 on CT side, we're doing good. Like, Liquid's doing way better than they have for a long time, for a really long time. And it's all off of this Malbs move. And of course, it's just 2 games, but I really expect this only to get better over time. Of course, people will start reading Malbs' tendencies, but he proved that he was already a very good anchor in G2. G2 won tournaments, by the way. It was a team that won tournaments. They had really good players too, but Malbs played his role really well and was like a really good 3rd star. And here he can be that same thing. He can be that 3rd or 4th star, provided that Elige, Neff, and Ultimate actually provide. And Ultimate is the big X factor here. Because Ultimate is the type of player to have 3 bad games and then 1 good game. We need him to have at least 3 good games and 1 bad game. That would be acceptable, but we need that first. And so this is a massive change for Liquid. And it's already better for Liquid than it's going to be for G2 because, I mean, I guess there's a world where G2 goes from like 10th in the world, more or less where they are now, all the way to like 3rd in the world off of this. It's possible, but the jump that Liquid are making just from this move is massive. And it's not even counting the whole VRS angle of it, which in my opinion, Liquid is totally, it's totally fine for them to do that type of thing. It's kind of more down to Valve's rules where maybe you should create rules where it's possible not to just play 5 games in the middle of a season and then immediately shift regions. But given that that was possible, given that there were no rules against it, I don't blame Liquid at all for doing that. And it's really worked out for them so far. And we're already seeing Ultimate doing better than he was. And their CT sides just look way more clean. They just look way better. And T sides look better too. Elige seems like he knows what he's doing. It looks like he has sort of his identity back. So, yeah, in short, I think Liquid fans are going to eat good soon. They're, I expect that by the end of the year, Liquid will be a firm top 10 team again. And I predict that they're going to make at least like 1 top 4 run at a big tournament. I don't know, I'm not sure if it'll be Cologne, but it's gonna be one of these tournaments, and they're gonna make a deep run, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, Liquid's back now. They're a team again," and I can see this based off of just of these 2 first series. So hopefully they continue trending in this right direction. Hopefully I'm not jinxing them by saying all this stuff, but yeah, Liquid won the trade. See you later.